Welcome, we are the City of London School Inter-University Science team. In this video, we will be covering rate of reactions. These are the specifications of various exam boards. These will be very useful for your revision. Now we can begin. Let's consider 3 questions. First of all, what is a chemical reaction? What causes chemical reactions to happen? Why does the rate of chemical reaction matter? So, what is a chemical reaction? A chemical reaction can be defined as a process that leads to the chemical transformation of one set of chemical substances to another. Chemical reactions happen everywhere. You would have come across chemical reactions such as neutralization, combustion, and precipitation reactions. But what causes these reactions? Chemical reactions are the result of reacting particles colliding with each other. However, not all collisions of particles induce a reaction. For a reaction to happen, the following conditions should be met. 1. Correct orientation of particles, and 2. Sufficient energy of collision exceeding the activation energy, also denoted with the symbol E subscript A. If these conditions are met, the collision is deemed to be successful and a chemical reaction will occur. Rate of reaction is how fast the reactants are changed into products. In chemical industry, the faster the reaction, the faster you make money. So, to increase the rate of reaction, what factors should we consider? First factor to consider is concentration and pressure. An increase in the concentration of the reacting solutions would lead to an increase in the rate of reaction. This is due to the increase in the number of reactant particles in the same unit volume, which increases the chance of collisions. An increase in pressure of the reactant gases leads to an increase in the rate of reaction due to the increase in the number of particles in the same unit volume, which increases the chance of collisions. A second factor to consider is temperature. When temperature is increased, the particles have more kinetic energy. Therefore, they move faster, and there will be a higher chance of collision. Moreover, as temperature increases, the energy of the collisions increases, and hence is more likely to be a successful collision. The next factor to consider is surface area. An increase in the surface area of the reacting solids, whilst maintaining the same unit volume, leads to an increase in the rate of reaction. This is due to the increase in the number of particles on the surface of the solid that can react, which increases the chance of collisions. The final factor to consider is catalysts. Catalysts are very special. They are used all the time in commercial and industrial fields to do 2 main things. 1. To increase the reaction rate, and 2. To reduce energy costs. Catalysts have several features that you need to remember. Catalysts are not used up in reaction. They do not change the final yield, they do not change the products, and they are very specific. Now we know the features of catalysts, but how do they increase the rate of reaction? They decrease the activation energy needed for the reaction to occur. They do this by providing an alternate energy pathway for the reaction to take place. In terms of the collision theory, the particles require less force when colliding to start a reaction. If you look at this reaction profile, you can see that the activation energy is significantly reduced when a catalyst is used. Here is an example of a catalyst used in the Haber process. Ammonia is very useful in industry and agriculture, and to produce ammonia, NH3, nitrogen from the air and hydrogen from natural gas is reacted. Using an iron catalyst significantly reduces the time taken to obtain a wanted amount of yield. Now we have covered 4 main factors affecting the rate of reaction. They are the following. 1. Concentration and pressure. 2. Temperature. 3. Surface area to volume ratio. And 4. The addition of a catalyst. These will all come up in your exams and you have to know them very well. Now let's look at some exam questions. The first question is to explain what the term catalyst means. And as we have seen from before, we know that catalysts speed up the reaction and are not used up by themselves. And also they do not change the final yield or the final product. Now let's see the answers. This 2-mark question gives 1 mark for stating that a substance increases the rate of reaction and a 2nd mark for saying that it is not used up in the reaction. Now let's move on to the next question. This is a question where we have to draw an energy level diagram. It tells us that the reaction is exothermic, so therefore we know that the energy level of reactants will be higher than the energy level of the products. We can draw an energy level diagram like this. We can see that the reactants, carbon monoxide and oxygen, are written on top of the reactant line. And we have a downwards arrow showing the enthalpy change, which is negative, and therefore the reaction is exothermic. We can also see that the carbon dioxide products line is much lower than the reactant line, showing a drop in heat energy or a loss in heat energy. Carbon monoxide and oxygen can also be written as CO plus O2, and carbon dioxide can also be written as CO2. Here is our final set of questions. This question asks us to write a balanced equation for the reaction of hydrocarbon heptane with excess oxygen. This would be writing a balanced equation of heptane combustion. And to do this, we must balance the following equation. C7H16 plus O2 goes to H2O plus CO2. Now let's see how we can balance this. C7H16 plus 11O2 goes to 7CO2 plus HH2O. Now this is a final question. When reactions take place in a solution, the rate of reaction is affected by the concentration in the solution. Explain in terms of particles and collisions why the rate of reaction increases when the concentration of one of the reactants is increased. We have seen this in this video before, and why the increase in concentration increases the rate of reaction. It is a 2-mark question, and the marks are as follows. 1. More particles in the same unit volume in increased concentration, and 2. A higher chance of collisions, and therefore more successful collisions, hence an increased rate of reaction. Here are some very useful websites that you could use to improve your grades. Physics and Math Tutor, BBC Bitesize, and Maths Made Easy have really helped CLS students to improve their grades. Thank you very much for listening to our video, and we hope to see you again.